Hello guys, and welcome back to Will Nerds. I might look a little nervous, and that's because today we're featuring the Great Basin Rattlesnake. The Great Basin Desert is a place full of amazing wildlife, but nothing is more iconic than the common pit viper named after its classic tail. The rattlesnake. This group of pit vipers can only be found throughout the Americas. And because we just happen to live here, it was only a matter of time before we come across Utah's most common viper. So we were here the other day, probably about a week ago, and we found a rattlesnake, but we didn't have our camera gear because it was just me and my mom. But we came back a few times after that so we could make a video off of it, and it's always been there. It's just not been good for us. So now we're gonna go again. We're ready to film, and we're hopefully gonna get an episode today. Okay, it's right here. So we have this GoPro, and I just got it out of the van, but I'm going to extend it like this. I'm going to put it down through the hole. So now we're going to get a good shot of the snake like this. Here we go. Okay, ready? The reason we're putting this in a bucket is because we want to get it to a safe location where it's safe for it and people. We don't want people crossing by, interfering and getting bit. It's just not a good idea. So that's why we're putting it in a bucket. Ooh, it's just a little guy. Careful. Okay, let's go.
All right, I'll follow you.
I'm telling you guys, when you're about to pick up a rattlesnake, you get nervous. I'm just gonna gently take it out. I just want everybody out there to know, never ever do this at home. And also that we are being very gentle with the snake. The last thing we want is to hurt the snake or ourselves. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Oh man, that's awesome. Okay, so this is the Great Basin Rattlesnake. This is the most common rattlesnake in Utah. I'm gonna try to get it to, oh, stay still, hey, stay still.
Matt, you're too close to it.
Hold on, I gotta figure out something else. It's gonna get away. The first thing you'll notice when you look at a snake like this is probably that rattle, and you may be wondering, it's making a really loud noise, and that's really impressive. But I'm sure most of you don't actually know how that rattle works, and I'll tell it to you. So that rattle is made of keratin, and keratin also makes up your fingernails, it makes up your hair, it makes up this rattlesnake's scales, and even a rhino horn. And basically, each individual button, that's what each section is called, a button, overlaps each other and is hollow. So when it shakes its rattle really fast, they vibrate against each other, making that noise that you know as a rattle. You never see rattlesnakes during the winter, and the reason for that is because they're brumating, which is basically the reptile form of hibernation. All reptiles are actually ectothermic, and what that means is that they're cold-blooded, and basically they have to take the outside environment to control the temperature of their bodies. So when they get cold, they go in the sun. Something interesting about the reproductive system of rattlesnakes is they're ovoviviparous, and I'll explain that. So there's oviparous, viviparous, and ovoviviparous. Oviparous is like a bird. A bird is oviparous. They lay eggs, and then the babies hatch out of the eggs. Viviparous is like a person. We give live birth. But ovoviviparous is like these rattlesnakes. They will actually develop an egg inside their body, but then the neonate is what baby snakes are called, neonates, will hatch out of that egg inside the mother, and then it will come out as if the mother's giving live birth. Pretty cool, huh? This is the most common species of rattlesnake in Utah, but we do have 5 species. Oh, gosh. Look at that. Wait, get a shot of him right now. It's incredible. They're so strong. When you approach a rattlesnake, the first thing they'll do is sit still and camouflage. They don't want anything to do with you. So you should never go out and just, when you see a rattlesnake, step back, go around. Some species can strike about 2/3 the length of their body. But if camouflaging doesn't work, then it'll start to rattle. And like I said, that rattle is very loud. It's a defense, and it's basically saying, I'm dangerous, you don't want anything to do with me. Just move along. And then the last defense, which is very last, is biting. For that point, they do not want to waste their venom, so they're gonna first camouflage, second rattle, third slither away, and fourth, if you're really being dumb, they will bite. There aren't very many reported deaths of this species, but keep in mind, if you are bit, there is a chance you will die. So being a rattlesnake, the Great Basin rattlesnake is a pit viper. We featured colubrids, like the garter snake and the bull snake, but a viper is different. So unlike a colubrid, a viper does have fangs, hingeable fangs. They come out. When it's about to bite its prey, they come out. That is just a viper thing. But a pit viper has that characteristic, but also it's got something that's really cool. So let me take it out, stand back, Dad, to show you this. Okay, right there. So if you look at the front of its face, I know you can't see it right now, but we'll get shots. This snake actually has what's called a heat-sensing pit. And yeah, that pit senses heat. That's how it catches most of its prey. It uses its sight and that heat-sensing pit to catch its prey. So it's going around and it's basically looking for warm masses. Those warm masses could be rodents. Right now, he's seeing huge warm masses, which is us. When it sticks its tongue out in the air, it grabs onto chemicals and then it brings it back in, and its Jacobson's organ basically reads that and tells him what it is. So it's almost like smelling. So the reason that rattlesnakes are not very aggressive is because they're preserving their venom for what they have it for, which is catching their prey. These rattlesnakes have a hemotoxic venom, and what that means is that it gets into your body, goes throughout your bloodstream, and is basically killing off your red blood cells. You want to get yourself to the hospital if you are bit, and if you get enough venom, you could potentially die. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please comment and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next Wildernerds episode. Oh man. Okay, now we have the last step. We're going to take this Great Basin rattlesnake and put it right back where we found it so it doesn't get lost. Here's its home. Ready? This is one beautiful snake. That was awesome. Our first venomous snake on Wilson.